back to another English online session. In the previous class, we have seen the first two sections of Madam Rides the Bus. A young girl who wished to ride the bus, and she was doing everything to accomplish her goal. She has started her journey. In between, a few funny conversations happened between Wally and conductor and one or two passengers. So let's see what happens after that. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way, resisting every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and the like. And finally, she had saved a total of 60 paise. For this travel, we already knew that how much money needed. For her, it is a huge task. Here, it is explained what are the things she resisted. Like she's a small child, always had the temptation to buy toys, peppermints, these sweets, such sweets, but she avoided everything, buying everything, and saved this 60 paise. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round, even though she had the money. So, especially a particular event, the village fair, she wished to go for a ride in the merry-go-round, but she just controlled herself to save this amount. So for her as a child, it is a great thing controlling this kind of enjoying activity for this particular task. After she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. But she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from about 1 to 4. So Wally always used these hours for her excursions as she stood looking for the doorway of her house or sometimes even ventured out into the village. So after the money, this next problem going out without her parents' permission, she cannot go out. And the time she had found that the afternoon time after the lunch, her mother just take a short sleep from 1 to 4. So that time she used to watch the outside things happening, and also she even go to the village. Such the activities she used to do. Now she preferred this time for traveling in the bus. Today, these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. So she has decided use the same time for the first excursion outside her village. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet or past an old wayside shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them or a pedestrian crossing the road. So, after thinking about the past, she again started watching the sceneries outside. So, she had seen some landscape, bare landscape, there is no cultivation, bare landscape, and also hamlet, small settlements, small villages, and also wayside shops she had seen. And she also watched passing vehicles and pedestrians, but somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all the obstacles safely behind. The tree came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them, simply stood there helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away in the direction. So she just started feeling like the trees are running towards the bus. It we feel like when we move in a vehicle, we feel like the trees are running on the roadside, or it's simply stand there because we move. We feel like the trees are moving. Okay, so she was enjoying each and every detail of the scenery, when she passes in the bus. Suddenly, Valli clapped her hands with glee. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed to crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again. But the more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. The next fascinating thing is a young cow which was running before the bus, even though the driver just honked the horn to just drive it away from the way of the bus. But after hearing the sound of the bus, the the young cow, started running in front of the bus again and again. Somehow this was very funny to Ali. She laughed and laughed until there was tears in her eyes. Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Better save some for tomorrow. At last the cow moved off the road and soon the bus came to railroad crossing. A speck of a train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. So she laughed like anything. She laughed like tears are coming out from her eyes, like she laughed. So the conductor was asking Valli to save some laughter for tomorrow. By the time the bus was crossing a railroad, the bus stopped there, and she just seeing the train was coming from the distance like a speck, like a dot, and when it is approaching, it became bigger and bigger. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle shaking the bus. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and turning into a wider thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means a busy public road. So, next, what are the places they bus passed that is explained here. Traversed a busy, well laid shopping street, people rushing to shop something. That way, the bus passed and entered into the thoroughfare. A busy public road, there also it was passing. So far, it was traveling or just moving through barren lands, now entered in a town or a city. Such big, bright looking shops were glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Such big crowds struck dumb with wonder, Wally gaped at everything. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Wally. Hey, lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paise takes you. So she was wondering everything she was watching outside big shops, the merchandise here, the things for sale, the things, dresses, all those things displayed outside. It is wondering for her because she is coming from a village and she saw the things displayed in the town, the shops in the town. It is wondering for the first time she is watching. When the bus reached the destination, the conductor asked, why don't you get off the bus? You have paid 30 paise and this is the final stop. You have to get down here, he was asking her. No, Wally said, I am going back on the same bus. She took another 30 paise from the pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why, is something the matter? No, nothing is the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you are here? All by myself. Oh, I would be much too afraid. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, but you weren't afraid to come in the bus. So he was further enquiring. By the time she was handovering 30 paise for her return. So anything matter why you are returning in the same bus? Why don't you get out and at least watch outside? She was just saying that I was afraid to go out. I came here just for a bus ride. And he was mockingly or just surprisingly, he was asking that she didn't worry to go for a bus ride, but she is afraid now to get out of the bus. Nothing to be afraid of about that, she answered. Well, then why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of what that either. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Well, then let me bring you a cold drink. So it is not no need to afraid. You don't need to afraid to go out and have some drink to the nearest stall. But she is hesitating, or she is saying no, no need. I am not going there. Then the conductor is offering a drink to her. Let me bring you a cold drink. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket, that's all. It will be my treat and not cost you anything. No, no, she said firmly, please, no. So she said, I don't have any more money to buy anything. By the time the conductor was offering, it is my treat, she just strictly said, no, I don't need anything. Just hand me the ticket. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. The conductor also approved her wish by moving his shoulder, shrugging, and they have waited till the bus started again. Won't your mother be looking for you? The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. No, no one will be looking for me, she said. The bus started, and again there were the same wonderful sights. Wally wasn't bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she had felt the first time, but suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside just where it had been struck by the fast moving vehicle. So again the bus started. He was asked, "Won't you or mother waiting for you?" She said, "No, no, 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 nobody waiting for me. Just, just cut the conversation there." And again the bus started. She was started watching the sightseeing again with the same excitement she had in the beginning. Finally, what she had seen that a young cow, lying outside the road, and she was disappointed by the way the cow was lying on the roadside. And it is revealed that that cow was hit by one of the fast moving vehicles. Isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on our trip to town? She asked the conductor. The conductor nodded, and she was overcome with the sadness. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life, and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread eagled, a fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, blood all over. The cow was dead, it's lying on the roadside. She lost all the interest she had before. She just confirmed with the conductor that it is the same cow she had seen on the way to town. So, a very young and energetic cow, just lovably, very beautifully jumping, running here and there. Now it's lifeless. And she can find blood all over the cow. She was very disappointed. She became very sad after watching this. The bus moved on. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. She no longer wanted to look out the window. She sat thus glued to her seat until the bus reached her village at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself. Then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." "Okay, madam," he answered her smile. After that incident, she sat on her seat. She even didn't look outside. This particular incident haunted her, returned repeatedly to her mind, disturbed her a lot. So she didn't want to look outside anymore. And finally, the bus reached her village again, and she said goodbye to the conductor, like she will see him again. Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us, and don't forget to bring your fare. She laughed and jumped down from the bus. Then, anyway, she went running straight for home. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Wally's aunts, the one from the south street. So he said in a jokingly, whenever you would like to have a bus ride, just join us, but don't forget to bring the fare. So she just walked back to her home, found her mother talking to one of her aunts who just settled in the south street. So she just came to her house. This aunt was a real chatterbox, never closing her mouth once she started talking. So she was just introducing her aunt as a chatterbox. She always talked. Where have you been? Said her aunt when Wally came in. She spoke very cautiously, not expecting a reply. So Wally just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. So her aunt simply asked a question, where have you been till now? And she even don't need the reply from Wally. Like she continued her conversation with Wally's mother. So she also moved from that place. Yes, you are right. Her mother said so many things in our midst and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we? Oh, yes, breathed Wally. So when they are discussing about the things happening around us, we cannot know everything happening around us. Even something happening around us, we could not understand it completely. The passing Wally, who was passing them, she just agreed immediately. What? Asked her mother. What's that you say? Oh, said Wally. I was just agreeing with what you said. Everything's happening without our knowledge. Just a chit of a girl, she is, said her aunt. So she, while she was agreeing, or while she said that her mother asked what you said, then she said, what you have said, I am agreeing with what you have said. So many things are happening without our knowledge. Then the aunt was interfering and say it's simple talk of a girl and not giving much importance to what she said. And yet, look how she pokes her nose into our conversation just as though she were a grown lady. While I smiled to herself, she didn't want them to understand her smile. But then there wasn't much chance of that, was there? So, Aunt, still considering she was a very young girl who do not understand everything, and Wally just gave them a smile like they never understand what exactly she had done and where she is coming from, like she was just asking a question. No, they never come to know what I have done. So this is a very interesting story describing how a young girl just fulfilled her desire to ride a bus. Hope you understood the summary. See you in the next class with another story. Till then, take care. Bye.